We're going to walk off that pie. Greetings. Welcome to webinar 49. And I'm so glad you're here. We're getting into the nitty gritty. But like I said, we're going to learn today how to walk your pie off and keep your blood sugar balanced after holiday feasts. It's no nonsense November. Now, what do I mean by nonsense? We're going to go back to the previous couple of slides. How do I stay on track for parties, potlucks, planes? Well, there are road hazards ahead on the journey to optimal health and wellness, especially in the holidays. Just one taste, just one more bite, just one slice, or I can make up for it later. Now, today we're talking about that make up for it later part because, well, before I say that, we're going to identify all of those thoughts as nonsense. Okay? So today we're going to discover the science behind walking after eating. You know, we've got our little tip to walk after eating, but why does it work? What does it do for you? Tips and secrets, some other tips and secrets for keeping your blood sugar balanced. How to even the odds of the unfair advantage. Your holiday feasting tables, they present an unfair advantage. So we're going to try to even the odds. And we've got a 5, 10, 20 playbook for after meal activity. And then we've got, I'm going to remind you of some other plays in the playbook. So what do I mean by the unfair advantage of holiday feasts? Well, there's sensory overload, the sights, the smells, the sizzling pans, the nostalgia. They just light up your dopamine pathways, and that little, what do they call it? Food noise. The food noise gets really loud around a nice holiday table. People pressure. I'm bless you, Aunt Mary. You did make some good pie, but just one more slice. I can hear it. Just one slice. She's from Virginia, and she had this South Virginia drawl. It's just the sweetest pie. But your host can be loving, and you've got politeness programmed in, and that makes it hard to say no. So we have a couple of scripts for maybe how to say no thanks last week. So we've been giving you some strategies, some tips and tricks. Portion traps. Oh my goodness, the giant plates, the endless platters. It's overflow, and it's wonderful, right? We're thankful. That's the whole point of Thanksgiving. But we don't have to eat the whole overflow, right? And then there's the fatigue stack from travel, late night meals, poor sleep, stress, alcohol. All of those things affect your willpower or will hijack your plan for a healthy meal. Now, we do have the science. Healthline.com has the article, Is Walking After Eating Good for You? And I will put the link for this in the description, the YouTube description of this talk. But I'm going to highlight a few of the secrets that I found in this article. Okay, so what's the problem? Why am I focusing on glucose? Well, you've heard, turkey makes you sleepy, and that's true. After a big Thanksgiving dinner, you can just measure the decline of energy in the room. But that's for a couple of reasons. One is because of tryptophan, which is an amino acid that leads to your sleep hormone, neurotransmitters. But let's look at the carbs. What happens at the dinner? You've got bigger, faster carbs, which means bigger spikes, bigger crashes, and so much more glucose, fluids, sodium, fat to process. But here's the tip, here's a trick, here's the secret, one of the secrets. Your muscles act like a glucose sponge when you move. And we've talked about insulin before, so I wasn't planning to really talk about this, but why do I say this? Your muscles act like a glucose sponge. All right. So after you eat, your food breaks down and your blood fills up with glucose. And that's the primary sugar, that's the primary fuel for your cells. So we want to have glucose, but the glucose doesn't automatically go into the cells. There's a door or a receptor on the surface of the cell, and the door needs a key to let glucose come in. And the key is insulin. So when you take in glucose, your pancreas secretes insulin, and your insulin tells your muscle cells, open up the door, let the glucose in. And when you take that after meal walk, that helps to that helps the muscles to use up the glucose they have stored inside, and then open up the door and get more glucose in, so your blood sugar clears from your or decreases from your bloodstream and gets where your cells need it so that they can use it. Okay. So that's why I say your muscles act like a glucose sponge, because they, as long as the insulin is there, as long as your cells aren't insulin resistant, then the glucose can flow from your bloodstream into your muscles where it gets used for energy. Okay, so what's the fix? A light walk within 30 minutes. I'll say 30 to 60 minutes, but definitely within 30 minutes after eating. That's going to lower the spike and smooth out the curve. And, you'll hear a lot of people say you don't want to exercise after you eat, mostly for swimming. You don't want to swim after you eat, right? That's where I heard that the most. But if if your stomach feels sloshy, I like that. That's a medical term, sloshy. Just wait 10 to 15 minutes and keep your walk easy. But trust me, it's going to help you. So here's what I'm talking about, the spikes and crashes. So when we look at your blood sugar level over time, there's a range we want to keep it in, right? And that's the green. That's the optimal range. That's where your blood sugar will probably stay if we are sticking to protein and produce. But when we add the fast carbs, the starches, the sugars, the sweets, when we take them in more quantities, then our blood sugars will spike after the meal, and then through more mechanisms of insulin and whatnot, it will lead to a crash later. And we don't want this pattern of spiking and crashing. We want to stay smooth inside the green range. And so that's where motion is going to help us. So let me give you 3 tips right off the bat when blood sugar can be a concern. Number 1 is the walk, and we're going to talk about that a little more. Number 2 is water. Just drinking water will help to dilute the glucose in your bloodstream, and it will help your kidneys, because we're asking a lot of your kidneys and your liver when we've got that big old load of a meal. And focusing on fiber helps to slow the breakdown, and so it helps to curb those peaks and valleys. Oh, okay. So before we get to the secrets, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Lisa Singletary, MD, MPH, CWHC. I'm known as the 100-pound weight loss specialist because I've personally lost over 150 pounds, and I've developed a framework, the 5 M's of total transformation, to empower your transformation from the inside out. Now, what are the 5 M's? They are mindset, macronutrients, micronutrients, motion, and measurement. And if you look at my shirt color, we're talking about motion today. And it's funny, isn't it? November, which is a shorter month, has 5 Saturdays. So we've got 1 M for each Saturday this month. But December, which is a longer month, only has 4 Saturdays. So we're going to double up on a couple of the M's. And we do that. And we always rotate which ones we double up. So that makes it real interesting as far as which topics we're going to cover. But just for a little more detail, I am the 100-pound weight loss specialist. I'm a family practice physician, now retired. I have a master's degree in public health, which is why I love digging into all of those articles. And it's my privilege now to be a certified holistic health coach. And I'm passionate about empowering you on your journey to optimal health and wellness. Okay, 2006 motion was everything for me. I'm so thankful and privileged that I had ballroom dancing in my life. So we got the motion and the music and the man, my Arthur Murray trainer. Shout out to Froylan. And you can see I was extremely, extremely overweight, but I did have the gift of motion, and it saved me. But in 2008, I gave up ballroom dancing. I gave up my medical practice to go home and take care of my parents. And 8 years later, after that privilege, I needed my father's wheelchair just to get around the house. I needed a miracle. And I'm not going to tell you I found a miracle. We don't talk about miracles in health and wellness, but I'm going to tell you I needed a miracle. But this was also my disclaimer slide. So this is not a medical consultation. This is not a second opinion. It's open season, but your insurance will not pay for me. So not diagnosing, treating, curing, healing any medical diseases. Okay. Do you feel disclaimed? I hope you feel disclaimed. But I do want to tell you, yes, I needed a miracle, and I found a change. I could say I had a change. So when I turned 60, I tracked my weight through the years. Because I could remember, I mean, I've been on a diet since I was 6, and I could remember my weights at different points in time. I took a physical for medical school. I took a physical for residency, and just different times in my life, I could remember what my weight was, and I plotted it on a chart, and I was shocked because research does show that U.S. adults tend to gain 1 to 3 pounds every year, mostly in the winter. That's why we are gearing up for no nonsense November, and we're going to talk about some decisions in December, but that'll come later. All right. But look, something happened to the trajectory in 2015. Wow, right? There was a big change. And when that change happened, this is the evidence. March of 2015, I was somewhere between 410 and 435. I'm not sure. right? But I'm being conservative saying it was 410. And by November of that same year, I was down 85 pounds on, just by adding nutrition to my life. Now, did I diet? Not really, but what happened? The nutrition changed me. I stopped craving. I stopped being driven. I stopped having that food noise in my brain. And I was able to change the trajectory. And I'm still on the path today, but I'm telling you, there's power in nutrition and making healthy decisions. Okay, let's get to the secrets. So, secret number one, what can that post meal walk do for your blood sugar? It can lower the peak and short, same thing, lower the peak, shorten the spike. It's going to smooth the curve. I should have put smooth the curve. So we've talked about a 10-minute walk after the meal, but we can even give you a little more strategy. So there are 3 levels we can have to the walk. Level 1, a 5-minute spin out stopper. We just want to get a few hundred steps, just, from your house to the mailbox and back, or whatever, just to uh, break the cycle and get everything going, get your muscles opening those doors and let the glucose in. Level 2 is a 10-minute walk, and we can call that the glucose walk. It is 1,000 to 1,200 steps at a talkable pace. So, and this is where most of the evidence, where you can find the most evidence. Although we have found evidence that even 1 minute makes a difference, right? But when you look across the whole spectrum of the research. And in level 3, the holiday buffer, that's a 20-minute walk. And that's about 2,000 to 2,400 steps. And you can take it at the, what do we call? So for the 1 minute, remember, we needed that 1 minute to be at the huff and puff pace. But you can take a leisurely pace for most of the 2,000 steps, but you could put a few 30-second bursts of brisk walks. So it's like intermittent, right? Intermittent bursts of activity. Don't forget the music. The music makes all the difference. What else can you do if you're even before you're doing the post meal thing? When you're doing your dishes, you can make more trips to put the dishes away. When you bring it in even before, when you bring in the groceries, you can make multiple trips from the car or multiple trips to the trash can afterwards. Neighborhood knock, you can invite someone for the quick lap with you. It's always better with friends. And if the weather's bad outside, you can do the sofa circuit. So while you're talking on the phone or while you're just doing a live or focused just on your walking and breathing, walking in figure 8s around the sofa, or if you can do a circuit in your house, walking that circuit, walking that loop, throw in a stair or 2, and you've got moves that you can do indoors, outdoors, just taking a few minutes anytime. And remember, if you feel sloshy, that medical terminology there, just wait 10 to 15 minutes and keep it light. You want to have good shoes. Shoes are better than slippers. And you want to be pain-free throughout your circuit. So that might mean for some of you avoiding grass or avoiding, the uneven terrain, keeping it as smooth as possible. Okay, secret number 2. What can this walking after meals, do for your blood pressure? You can walk off the salt and the stress. So we're talking about pressure relief, not pressure cooker. Now, I love pressure cookers, but I had to yield to the play on words. So this pressure cooker means a pressure cooker inside your body, not the one on your counter. Okay. So post-meal strolling helps your body shift from a sympathetic or tight and tense state to a calm and circulating state. Also, light working supports your vascular system. It helps your blood vessels to relax, moves your sodium and fluid around. Because what happens after a meal? It's called there's something called postprandial splanchnic pooling. I always love the sound of that, but it just means that your blood rushes to your gut to do the digestion process. But we want to have everything balanced out. We want to have it smoothed out, and we want to have your blood pressure supported in that process. And walking a light walk after your meal helps that. So, what are some of the plays we can do for our blood pressure? Invite a quick lap while the coffee's brewing. We talked about the dish duty. Put the items away. Make more trips around the kitchen. And in the airport, we talked about this during the parties, planes, and potlucks. Do a loop around your gate. Skip the moving sidewalk. Do the walk. Secret number 3. What can that after meal walk do when you build up the habit? Because what is the word that we need for weight loss? It's consistency, right? Well, really for all of these, consistency is important. But these little wins add up. So when we talk about weight loss, we're talking about burning excess energy, because the energy is either used or it's stored. And if it's used, it's going to be used by your muscles. And if it's going to be stored a little bit in your muscles, a little more in your liver, but mostly in your fat. So short walks help to get your metabolism revved up a little bit so that you have burning energy when the fuel is most available. And when we have the protein and produce, of course, that helps to cut the cravings later. But here's what I mean by compounding. 5 minutes after each meal. Well, then if it's 3 meals a day, that's 15 minutes a day. That's 105 minutes per week that you weren't doing. That's going to really help you on your goal on your journey to optimal weight. When you have fewer spikes, your appetite doesn't get triggered as much. It's steadier, it's smoother, it's easier to control how many calories you take in. So just pick one, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes tonight, and start a consistent pattern of that short light walk after a meal. So what are we saying? You don't need to walk 5 miles to take your dinner off, right? That's what we call heroics. You just need to get into a consistent pattern to support your metabolism. Now, here's a bonus secret. What does that walk do for your digestive system? Well, bye-bye, brick in the belly. Gentle motion equals better motion. And you could put that in many, many contexts. All right, so easy walking can help food move along and reduce that heavy, bloated feel. If you're prone to reflux or tender stomach, things like that, wait 10 to 15 minutes and keep it light. What else can you do? Warm water, warm tea, uh, the light walk. Don't bend over so much when you're at full capacity, right? Give things time to move around and settle out. But getting yourself in motion helps to get your gut in motion. So here we go, the Walk Your Pie Off Challenge. Can you believe it? Thanksgiving is right around the corner. It's Thursday. So let's start getting in the habit now so that we're ready. So pick your level for the next 5 days. Okay, you're going to commit to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes. Or you could do a combination. Do 5 minutes after 2 of your meals and 20 minutes after your largest meal. So, but just get your mind set on what you're going to do. And then after your main meal, let's do a couple things. Write one word about how you feel. You could do it after the meal or 90 minutes later, whether you do the walk or not, or whether you do 5 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or not, right? Just take a check in with yourself and see, and you'll see a pattern of what it's doing in your body. And then let us know next week, especially after that big Thanksgiving feast, how did you do? Did you notice any difference? Which level changed your feeling, your metabolism the most? And I'd love to hear next week what difference a little walking off your pie makes. And remember, we love the music, so I'm bringing back Move to the Beat. This is so you can choose your rhythm. This is so you can choose your rate. You can choose how much energy you want to burn at the time. And man, music helps. So this is an app. This doesn't give you the music list. Some people were a little bit confused by that. What this does, you put in your goals. Do you want to calm, wind down, which is pretty much what we're talking about now. But you can put in anything. There's a drop-down list, and it gives you options from the calm to more active to training. So you get to choose your goal. You get to choose your activity, and you can put in your age. It will even help you to choose your heartbeat range for your age. And what it does is it gives you a prompt to put into your Spotify, your iRadio, or whatever. And that will give you your playlist. And for a 5-minute walk, you might have 2 songs, right? For a 10-minute walk, might be 3 or 4, etc. And you can adjust your playlist based on your goals. But I'm telling you, that beat match helps to keep you going, helps give you something to look forward to after your meal, not just beyond the walk, but including the walk. Both are enjoyable, but you put them together and you've got a winner. So you can scan this QR code or go to dr-lisa-singletary.online, not .com, dr-lisa-singletary.online/. beat match, beat hyphen match, and get your playlist keywords so that you can get your perfect playlist for your workouts. Now, before we go, I know we're talking about motion today, but I have to uh, give some clues about nutrition because that's the foundation, right? And I've developed the 5 steps to nutritional completeness to help us to get our nutrition locked in. And step 1 is avoid the bad foods. Step 2, there are 90 essential nutrients we need every day. Step 3, our bodies need antioxidants, adaptogens, anti-inflammatories. They can come from different compounds such as fucoidan, ashwagandha, a lot of different great natural compounds, herbals, essential oils, etc. Step 4, digestive health. We want to take care of our gut lining. We want to take care of our gut microbiome. And step 5, woo-wee, wellness wonderland. That's where everything, all the options live. The infrared mask, right? The heat, the vibration foot pads, all the different things you could do. Massage therapy, cryotherapy, art therapy, music therapy. That's all in Wellness Wonderland. And all of those things have a place for options for people for their health and wellness, but they have to be built on the foundation of the first 4 steps. So let's just take a look at steps. Number 1, when we talk about the bad foods and avoiding them, we're talking about foods that cause inflammation in the body. And the top of the list is wheat. Now, when you're talking about a holiday table, how much wheat, how many things on that table are made with flour, right? So you've got to be careful in your holiday decisions because the flour, the very flour that you use, causes inflammation in the gut and in the body. But wheat, barley, rye, it hurts my heart to say oats, but yeah, even oats. We got a whole nother talk about that. Fried foods, oils, deli meats, carbonated drinks, and baked or roasted potato skins. What do I mean by that? Because, a lot of places they'll even take the skins and fry them, whatnot. But something happens to the skins when they're cooked with dry heat. So I'm talking about when you take a potato and just stick it in the oven on dry heat and roast it, right? If you wrap it, bag it, steam it, stew it, then no problem. But it's that dry heat because of the formation of acrylamides and heterocyclic amines in foods when they are overcooked. I'm going to say overcooked. When they are toasted, roasted, when they get the grill lines, the Maillard reaction that gives all the flavor, that really does create compounds that cause inflammation and can cause cancer. So we want to avoid those. But look at the good foods. There's so many good foods. So focus on protein and produce, but there's so many wonderful, delicious options that are going to be available to you that will decrease inflammation in the body. Step 2, remember the 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids. And when I say these things, the word essential should be in front of all of them. 60 essential minerals, 16 essential vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and 2 to 3 essential fatty acids. They make up the 90 essential nutrients that all vertebrates need every single day. So we're going to supplement smart for fall. Now, we highlighted this in a previous webinar. You see my supplement team, our fall supplement team, and we talked about how in the fall we have the need for daily supplements, but we also have needs for some MVPs when challenges happen. You could call them the special teams. So sometimes we want to switch from pills to liquid supplements if a scratchy throat is a challenge. We definitely want to increase our antioxidants, phytonutrients, adaptogens, help our bodies deal with the stress of the challenge, get sunlight, get rest, and bump up your get your electrolytes to stay hydrated. Because when you are sick, you're not taking in the level of fluids that you usually need. And well, almost no one takes in the level of fluids that they need, but that means you're taking in even less when you're sick. So we got to watch our electrolytes, our hydration, and for short-term energy, short-term immune support bump, we could talk about extra vitamin C, extra D, zinc lozenges, etc. So today we discovered the playbook. Quick tips for blood sugar support. Remember, walking, water, and fiber. The science of walking after meals. We got that great Healthline article I hope you dig into. Like I said, the link will be in the description. The benefits of walking after the meal for your blood sugar, for your blood pressure, for your gut health, and beating the holiday feast, your home field advantage. You take back the home field advantage when you make great decisions around the holiday table. All right, so I got another little gift for you, and that is our holiday eating guide, Navigating Festive Feasts. And you can get it right here. Scan this QR code or go to dr-lisa-singletary.online/holiday. And it is a PDF of a PowerPoint presentation. You know, I love a PowerPoint, but it's got some great tips and tricks in there as well. Woo! Okay, so today is November 22nd. It's webinar 49. Next week is webinar 50. I can't believe it. And this is No Nonsense November. So next week, the focus is measurement. So we're going to talk about keeping track of our health journey. And then December, we're going into holiday feast mastery. We got even more tips and tricks to get into to keep us on track. So thank you all for joining me live on Total Transformation Secrets, webinar 49. Now, some of you might have just come to the YouTube replay, or hopefully the premiere, and then the replay after that. And, you know, someone might have shared the replay, the YouTube link, but if you want to join live, because after we stop the live recording, we go into a Q&A, we share our own little tips and tricks and whatnot, catch up on life with our family, friends and family here and in the Zoom. Shout out to everybody who's here live. And we record these live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And to register to join us, go to dr-lisa-singletary.online/live Zoom. That's live Zoom or scan the QR code, and that will take you to the Zoom registration page. Now, we take every Saturday the live and we premiere it on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. So anytime you want to come back and see the replay, you can do that from 9 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel, at Dr. Lisa Singletary. And I would love it when you do watch my videos to like them, subscribe, do all the things, notify and share. I would love that. Thank you so much. All right, so we know now how to walk your pie off. Okay, so if you're here live, stay with me. We're going to have our little Q&A, and if I remember, class picture. But whether you're live or replay, I love you all. Mwah. Happy Thanksgiving.